Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday. This is Action Theater Extra Dose. Today's feature will be Young Frankenstein from 1974, directed by Mel Brooks, starring Gene Wilder, um, and also starring. Help me out here, deleted.
Yeah. All right. Mel Brooks, Young
Terry Gar.
Frankenstein, with Terry Garr, Madeline Kahn, Cloris Leachman, Peter Boyle, of course, Marty Feldman, and Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to read the synopsis? Hey, Will Keys. Hail, Will Keys.
All right. The synopsis reads as follows. According to IMDb, the an American grandson of the infamous scientist struggling to prove that his grandfather was not as insane as people believe is invited to Transylvania, where he discovers the process that reanimates a dead body. Film is rated PG. Runtime is 106 minutes.
As much as we'd love to bring this to YouTube, we are restricted by the guidelines and rules and regulations of YouTube and, of course, copyright law. So, it's more or less like a fan commentary. We provide a screening room right here. Should be up on the screen, pinned at the top. In that screening room, if you'd like to go head over there now, and pretty soon I'm going to load it up, and we're going to watch this classic comedy film with horror twists. So I'm going to load that up now. And it should just should go to play. Yes, it should be playing right now.
20th Century Fox logo.
Hail to Words and Pictures, our friend across the pond. Good to see you here. Can everybody see and hear the picture good?
Yeah, I'm good. That guy don't look well.
No, you don't want to give up the secret box. No, it's mine. My treasure.
Frankenstein.
Ngày 1990.
So I guess cuckoo has become a medical term.
But I'm not dead. I'm feeling better.
I'm old. What do you think? Welcome, Adrian, Stefani, Nicole to Rebel Level. Welcome to the channel membership. Glad to have you as a new member. I don't think so. Patient would say otherwise. poor, poor guy. Ow. Yeah.
You're a doctor, deal with it.
She's kind of a staple. She was also in Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a talented singer. Elbow bump.
Kostenskloep.
Of course, Marty Feldman is Igor.
Right.
What hump? He takes a small luggage. This way. Oof. Inga.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you like to have a holiday? Was it Terry Guard just so beautiful back then?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
hail to our friend Connie Clary, left out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. Good to see you and have you here with us, Connie. Well, Wolf, Dare Castle. Suit yourself. I'm easy. What? What knockers? Here we have the great Cloris Leachman. That lady is tickled my bone on many movies. She's a very talented actress. This film is filled with talented actors and actresses who sadly just aren't no longer with us. Your candles are not lit. Yeah, I've noticed there's no railing here. I never just drink just brandy. Oh, that wrong movie. Ovaltine. What are you, orphan Annie? Yeah, okay, they're deleted scenes.
Him.
Behind the bookcase. Behind this wall. Good to see you there, Andrea Block. Lara, hand me that candle. Put the candle back. Yes, that's always a good idea. Block the bookcase with your body. You feeling a little squished? Listen to me very carefully. I think so. Oh, now she's gone through. Put the candle back. Close your room and follow me. Oh, so classic. That is a mighty big candle. Is that a rat? It kind of looks like a mouse. The handle has broken. Now, how am I going to open this door? Oh, it's opening. I'll get some WD 40 and fix that in the morning. 3 years dead. 2 years dead. And 6 months dead. Freshly dead. Bring out your dead. Got a hunch. It would seem that way. You go first. Indy, you go first. Throw the first switch. Tell me your eye. Let there be light. Throw pillows. There is a light coming from behind that door. What have we here? Doctor, look. But whom was playing it? There's nothing here but books and paper. Yes, it is. How I did it by Victor Frankenstein. He wrote his own autobiography. he would have a nervous laugh. I didn't know you would think about such things. But Igor, such a great drawing. Oh no, he was hung at the gallows. That's good enough for the likes of him. Jolly good, sir. Jolly, jolly good. Could be raining. You just had to say that, didn't you, Igor? Igor, oh, Igor. Yeah, that's a good one, Connie. And here's your sign. I get that reference. I believe this is filmed. A lot of this was filmed on the Universal Studios backlot. Well, if you ever go venture to Universal Studios, ask for bands, you might see all of what you see here. I have one. Just a moment. Never seen your face before. There's a good reason for that, and I'll tell you that some other time. Thank you very, 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 very much. Really want to put my clammy ham back. Wait, wasn't that, wasn't your thing over? Oh, never mind. H-step brain depository. After 5 p.m., slip brain through the slot in the door. How many people would be slipping brains through a hole in the door? That makes me the most curious. Hans Debruck. Oh no, you ruined the brain. He dropped the brain. Do not use this brain. Abnormal. Abnormal.
Ariana Grande. Oh, wait, it's just a kite.
Yes, tie off the kite. The possibility of electrocution. You understand? I understand. I understand. Did you? What? How'd you get down here so fast? Yes, yes, master. Yes, I thought you already did.
Oh,
Leave the platform. Throw the first switch. He's already dead. It's worse than that, Jim. It's worse than that, Jim. Oh, creature's moving his hands. Might be alive. Was that Hans Debluck? No. Oh no. Whose brain did you use? Be angry. And be normal. Normal. An abnormal foot. Before Android.
Nice.
Nice grouping. I think they might have cheated.
Look out.
Black cat. Hey, Big Al. Yes. No. And she's picking the pails off and dumping them down the well. Sinister look on his face. Bye-bye. There goes little girl. Or if you're in Animal House, thank you, God.
She's in bed. There you go. Problem solved.
Oh, this is a great scene. The late, great Gene Hackman. Some could say that this movie is a time machine.
Yeah, I was recently thinking very much the same thing.
For many years, I did not know that was Gene Hackman. Ah. Mm. Uh-huh. Hungry. Uh, hold out your bowl. Ouch!
Yes.
That was it.
No.
If he was cold, now he's hot. Wait. A toast. There goes my mug. cigars.
Fire bad.
We hate fire. Until the dip closed.
Jeez.
I was gonna make espresso. What? No, we had espresso.
No. This poor guy. He's just really trying not to die.
Yeah.
Through everybody else's incompetence or accident, you know. Uh,
I know.
Oh boy.
Bring me that candle. No matter. Don't open this door. This door. Yes, doctor. Nice working with you. You're a dead man.
Sir, before you go, if you could leave behind a case of Wonka bars, that would be.
Get the hell out of here. Hello, handsome. Look at that sweet smile. Is Frankenstein.
Oh boy.
Catcher bringing her optional sold out.
Thank you. Howdy. Wrong opera house.
Creature will work for sugar cubes. Sophisticated man of our town. No, yeah, no. Yeah.
Hillary!
Back in change. They have the monster in the cell. Mm, 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 mm. For now, I will be talking in moans and groans. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, well, that's your bosom. Doctor, yeah, doctor.
Uh-oh. Huh? Mhm. Mm.
Wow. Calm down. Excuse me while I whip this out. Woof. Wait, he hates fire. How did he get that cigarette lit?
I don't think he's afraid of fire anymore.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Somberson music playing in the background. She loves him.
Wow.
You think?
Oh, help me, damn it! They are going to put the brain of a man into the mind of a chicken. Wait. This will never work.
Ow! He's using his fingertips for that.
Oh, jeez.
He's got a metal hand. The villagers, they come bearing pitchforks and shovels. Hey, I don't just barge into your home and start breaking things. Why you do it to mine? Put that man down. And shit, what? To the lumberyard. Did somebody put a blue pill in my drink? What did you get from him? His animal labito. I think. I don't believe.
And as we leave Castle Frankenstein,
The end. Shall you consult the scrolls?
I will consult the scrolls. All right. Young Frankenstein was released December 15th, 1974. Estimated budget of $2.8 million, going on to gross more than $86.2 million worldwide. Went on to be nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Adapted Screenplay and Best Sound. Cloris Leachman and Madeline Kahn were both nominated for Golden Globes. Won the Nebula Award for Best Dramatic Writing, even though it's comedy. Writers Guild of America nominated it as a Best Comedy Adapted from Another Medium. Madeline Kahn was nominated for a supporting actress at the New York Film Critics Circle Awards. The movie won the Hugo. Let's see. Moving up to was the winner of the Golden Screen Award in Germany. Became part of the National Film Registry in 2003. Won the Online Film and Television Association Hall of Fame in 2016. Was nominated for a Satellite Award, the Outstanding Overall Blu-ray DVD for the 40th Anniversary Edition in 2015. And went on to win 6 awards at the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films for Best Horror Film, believe it or not. It's more of a comedy than a horror movie, but okay.
Right, yeah.
Makeup, set decoration, Best Director, and supporting actor for Marty Feldman. All right. Scrolling down. Filming began February 19th, 1974, and finished on May 3rd. All right. 15 filming locations, including a Lot 2 at MGM Studios, Culver City, California. The exterior scenes now a housing development.
Hmm.
Cemetery Lot 2, Culver City, MGM Studios, Culver City for the graveyard scene. Now a housing development. Okay. Okay. Now we
Wow.
know how poltergeist happened. Okay. Waterloo Bridge, Lot 2, MGM Studios. The angry villagers chased a monster across the bridge. Now a housing development. Quality Street, Lot 2, MGM Studios, Culver City. The Transylvanian Village. Now a housing development. Grand Central Station, Lot 2, MGM Studios, Culver City, where Frederick says goodbye to Elizabeth. Now a housing development. All right. The Mayfair Theater 214, Santa Monica Boulevard, Santa Monica, California, for the theater scenes. Stage 10, 20th Century Fox Studios. 10201 Pico Boulevard, Century City. Stage 4, 20th Century Fox Studios. 10201 Pico Boulevard for Frankenstein's Castle. And the University of Southern California for the medical school scenes. All right. On to the trivia. Charles Opie, missionary, is the third brain on the shelf. Credit Paul Mulick for the following. It seems that there was a graphic artist named Charles Opie who had previously worked as a preacher. The artist who made the labels for the brain jars was a buddy of Opie, so he put the name on the labels, an inside joke. Apparently, Charles Opie didn't find out about it until many years later. The clock chimes 13 times at the beginning of the film. The idea of Frederick's dart hitting a cat was ad-libbed on set. When Gene Wilder threw his dart off camera, director Mel Brooks quickly screamed like a cat to create the illusion. A couple who are talking on a train near the beginning of the film are having the same conversation in English, then in German. Terry Garr originally auditioned for the role of Elizabeth, while Madeline Kahn was the front runner for Inga. But Kahn ultimately decided she'd rather play Elizabeth, leaving Mel Brooks with the task of recasting the Inga role. Undaunted, he called Garr in and told her if she would come back the next day with a German accent, he'd like her for the part. She looked at Brooks and said, "Well, yes, I could do the German accent tomorrow. I could come back this afternoon." And the part was hers. Garr says she based the accent on Cher's wig maker with whom she had worked on the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. The skulls that Freddie and Inga find under the castle were real skulls, except for the one that was 6 months dead, which was handcrafted. The cast, especially Mel Brooks, had so much fun and were so upset when principal photography was almost completed that Brooks added scenes to continue shooting. The original cut of the film was nearly twice as long as the final cut, and it was considered by all involved to be an abysmal failure. It was only after a marathon cutting session that they produced the final cut of the film, which both Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks considered to be far superior to the original product. At one point, they noted that for every joke that worked, there were 3 that fell flat, so they went in and trimmed all the jokes that didn't work. Gene Wilder has stated that this is his favorite of all of the films he's made. Gene Wilder conceived of putting on the Ritz scene while Mel Brooks was resistant to it as a mere conceit and felt it would distract from the fidelity to the Universal horror films in the rest of the film. Wilder recalls being, quote, close to rage and tears and argued for the scene before Brooks stopped him and said, "It's in." When Wilder asked why he changed his mind, Brooks said since Wilder had fought for it, it would be the right thing to do. But it was only when he soon saw the musical number along with the howling audience that Brooks was finally confident about the sequence. When the monster is being brought back to life, the area around his eyes and what appears to be his teeth begin to glow. This was done with a plastic head created to look exactly like that of Peter Boyle. Some fake teeth, fake brain tissue, and a light were used to create the effect. Due to makeup continuity problems, certain shots with the blind man had to be reshot. When the blind man spills soup on the monster, the hand spilling the soup belongs to Mel Brooks, not Gene Hackman. Gene Wilder, Peter Boyle, and Marty Feldman appeared in this film by virtue of the fact that their mutual agent had to deal with the movie studio. When they started to film the putting on the Ritz scene, no one was sure what the creature should say the first time out of the gate. However, Peter Boyle came up with the strangled version of "Put on the Ritz," and Gene Hackman ad-libbed the blind man's parting line, "I was going to make espresso." The scene immediately fades to black because the crew erupted into fits of laughter. Hackman was unable to repeat the line without laughing, and the rest of the crew said the first take was used. Hackman was uncredited when the movie was originally released in theaters. The guest house at the beginning of the riot scene is a Gasthaus Gruskopf, named after producer Michael Gruskopf. Frederick and Kemp's full names, along with the origin of Kemp's wooden arm, are revealed in a scene originally deleted from the finished film, but included as an extra on later DVD releases. The brain in which Igor is sent to steal is labeled as belonging to Hans Delbruck, scientist and saint. There was a real-life Hans Delbruck. He was a 19th century German military historian and professor at the University of Berlin, notable for going beyond technical problems and linking warfare to politics and economics. His son Max Delbruck was a 20th century biochemist and Nobel laureate. Premiere Magazine voted this movie as one of the 50 greatest comedies of all time in 2006. Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks got into only one fight during production, but it was a big one, with Brooks throwing a huge temper tantrum, yelling and raging, and eventually storming out of Wilder's apartment where the men had been working on the script. Roughly 10 minutes later, Wilder's phone rang. It was Brooks, who had this to say: "Who is that madman you had in your house? I could hear all the yelling all the way over here. You should never let crazy people into your house. Don't you know that? They could be dangerous." That, as Wilder later put it, was Mel's way of apologizing. The experiment the medical student mentions, where Darwin preserved a worm in fluid until it came to life, is mentioned in Mary Shelley's foreword to her novel Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus. The Darwin in question was Erasmus Darwin, grandfather of the famous Charles Darwin. Actor Leon Askin played a lawyer reading the last will, but the scene was cut. Just like in Frankenstein, Green's face makeup was used on the monster to make his features more prominent in the black and white film. Originally in the script, after Igor drops the brain jar, he was supposed to turn to the camera and quip, "Funny thing is, I tried." Director cameo. Mel Brooks is the voice of the original Dr. Frankenstein when Frederick sees the laboratory for the first time. The shifting hump on Igor's back was an ad-libbed gag. Marty Feldman had been surreptitiously shifting the hump back and forth for several days when cast members finally noticed. It was then added to the script. Gene Wilder's performance as Dr. Frederick Frankenstein is ranked number 9 on Premiere Magazine's 100 Greatest Performances of All Time, ahead of the likes of Robert De Niro in Raging Bull and Daniel Day-Lewis in My Left Foot. Mel Brooks initially thought that the walk this way gag was too corny and wanted it cut from the film, but when he saw the audience's reaction to it at a screening, he decided to leave it in. In 1974, Aerosmith took a break from a long night of recording to see this film. Steven Tyler wrote the band's hit Walk This Way the morning after, inspired by Marty Feldman's line. At the 1975 Golden Globe Awards, Cloris Leachman was nominated for Best Lead Actress in a Comedy Musical, while Madeline Kahn was nominated for Best Actress in a Supporting Role for her work in this movie. However, Kahn has more screen time than Leachman. I don't know. I thought I came off kind of even, I guess. But who am I to say? It's the Golden Globes. They're all drunk. What are you going to do? I mean, it's not like, hey, you got a stopwatch on this thing or something? I mean, geez. All right. The blind man scene includes the monster having hot soup poured on him and getting his tumbler on fire. To keep himself protected, Peter Boyle had a hot pad on his lap, and he held a fake thumb with alcohol on it to keep the fire burning. When Mel Brooks was preparing for this film, he discovered that Ken Strickfaden, who had made the elaborate electrical machinery for the lab sequences in Frankenstein and its sequels, was still alive and living in the Los Angeles area. Brooks visited Strickfaden and found that he had stored all the equipment in his garage. Brooks made a deal to rent the equipment and gave Strickfaden the screen credit he didn't receive for the original films. The painting behind Inspector Kemp in the Village Meeting Hall is The Children of Charles I by Anthony Van Dyke. The Broadway musical version of Young Frankenstein, starring Roger Bart as Frederick and Schuler Hensley as the creature, who, by the way, is also the Frankenstein creature in Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing, same guy. Opened at the Hilton Theater in New York City, November 8th, 2007. It closed on January 4th, 2009, after 29 previews and 485 performances.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cloris Leachman on National Public Radio's Fresh Air on June 3rd, 2009, claimed that Mel Brooks told her that the name of her character, Frau Blücher, resembles the word for glue in German, hence the reason the horse whinnies. If he really said this, then either he was pulling her leg, as was his habit, or he was misinformed. The closest word for glue in German is Kleber. Blücher is a very common name, essentially equivalent to Jones. According to supplementary information on the DVD, the horse's terror at her name is meant to show that she is a terrible and frightening person, and according to Gene Wilder, Lord only knows what she does to them when no one is around. On the other hand, they react to the name, not her presence, weakening this idea. The one idea that has been proposed is that the name reminds them of an incident in the career of Prussian Field Marshal Gebhard von Blücher, where his horse died under him in the War of 1815. Or maybe it's just a silly gag with no meaning at all. Igor mentions that his grandfather, also named Igor, as evidenced by Frederick's first visit to the lab, used to work for Frederick's grandfather. Interestingly, in Frankenstein, the assistant's name was Fritz, carried over from a 19th century Frankenstein stage play. Igor, spelled with a Y, did not appear until Son of Frankenstein, where he worked for the son of the original doctor. Due to popular spoofs, Igor has supplanted Fritz in the popular imagination. Schwarzwalder Kirchtort, literally, I probably completely screwed that up. Even though I have German ancestry, folks, I can't speak it. Literally translates as Black Forest cherry cake. However, the cake is more commonly known as Black Forest cake in English. Mel Brooks said that when Columbia Pictures realized he wanted to shoot the film entirely in black and white, they were so opposed that Brooks took the project the next day to 20th Century Fox, where the much more accommodating Alan Ladd Jr. had no problem with this idea. He had just taken over the studio. However, producer Michael Gruskoff says that the move to Fox was because Columbia was unwilling to increase the budget from $1.75 million to $2.8 million. Most of actor Richard Hayden's role was deleted in the final print. After the dark game, when Inspector Kemp is leaving the castle, there's a gargoyle on the side of the building that looks like either Sir Alfred Hitchcock or Mel Brooks, depending on your point of view. Gene Wilder would only make the film if Mel Brooks promised not to appear in it. Brooks usually appeared in his own films, but Wilder felt that Brooks' appearance would ruin the illusion. Brooks made the off-camera appearances as the Howling Wolf, Frederick's grandfather, and a shrieking cat. The Walk This Way gag bit done by Marty Feldman, originally planned to be cut from the final version of the film, gained so much popularity that Mel Brooks included variations of it in History of the World Part 1 in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Supposedly, the scene that required the most takes is when Igor bites Elizabeth's animal wrap. Each time he did it, he was left with a piece of fur in his mouth, causing the other actors and actresses to laugh hysterically. Okay. After the first set of dailies, Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder asked director of photography Gerald Hirschfeld what he thought. Overall, Hirschfeld was pleased. However, Brooks was not, saying the film should satirize the look of the old Universal horror films. Wilder came to the flabbergasted Hirschfeld's defense, saying, "Mel, we never told him that's what we wanted. He's replicating it, but we want to poke fun at it." Hirschfeld made some changes, and the next set of dailies was more successful. While this film is a loving tribute to Universal Pictures' Frankenstein franchise of 1931 to 1945, the musical number put under its uses Irving Berlin's revised lyrics of 1946, rather than the racially insensitive original lyrics. The journal entry Frederick reads is two slightly paraphrased extracts from the novel by Mary Shelley. The two lab assistants are named Igor and Inga. Inga is a feminine form of the old Swedish name Ingvar or Ingmar. The Russian name Igor is, according to some linguistic scholars, a corruption of the same name. Included among the 1001 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steven Snyder. In the Putting on the Rich number, Igor can briefly be seen playing piano on the right of the stage. Also, after the creature jumps into the audience, when the camera cuts back to Dr. Frankenstein unconscious on the stage, Igor is the man trying to help. This is all that remains of a segment deleted from the theater scene, which is included on the Blu-ray edition. Igor with no hump and dressed in white tie and tails like Dr. Frankenstein brings props onto the stage for the blindfolded creature to perform a trick with. The trick itself is not included. Frankenstein asks Igor, "Where's your hump?" Igor replies, "Never with tails." Clips of Igor miming playing the piano are also shown as part of the deleted material. The slapstick routine Walk This Way originated in vaudeville. Pre-1974 film examples appear in Is My Palm Red, After the Thin Man to Super Snooper, and So You Want to Be an Heir. The musical Young Frankenstein at the Drury Lane Productions in Chicago, Illinois was nominated for a 2014 Joseph Jefferson Equity Award for a large musical production. One afternoon while shooting, Anne Bancroft, Mel Brooks' wife, visited the set and told Terry Garr that she and Brooks had seen the conversation the night before, which features Garr and Gene Hackman in the cast. Garr replied, "Oh yeah, that turned out to be a pretty good movie." To which Bancroft responded, "Honey, this is a movie. The conversation is a film. Mel Brooks wanted at least $2.3 million dedicated to the budget, whereas Columbia Pictures decided that $1.7 million had to be enough. Brooks instead went to 20th Century Fox for distribution after they agreed to a higher budget. 20th Century Fox signed Gene Wilder and Brooks to 5-year contracts at the studio. During a village assembly, the authority here says they already know what Frankenstein is up to based on 5 previous experiences. And on the DVD commentary, Mel Brooks said this is a reference to the first 5 Universal films. In the Gene Wilder DVD interview, he said the film is based on Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, and the Ghost of Frankenstein. Gene Hackman learned about the film through his frequent tennis partner, Gene Wilder, and requested a role because he wanted to try comedy. He volunteered to play the blind hermit for free. It was 4 days of shooting for about 4 minutes of running time. Throughout the shoot, Mel Brooks would offer Gene Wilder directing advice, knowing of his ambition to do so. Wilder reminisced, Mel would say, "You know the trouble I'm in because I didn't shoot that close-up? Don't do that." I would say, to whom are you talking? You, when you're directing. Gene Wilder is constantly cracked up during takes. According to Cloris Leachman, he killed nearly every take with his laughter, and nothing was done about it. Shots would frequently have to be repeated as many as 15 times before Wilder could finally summon a straight face. Cloris Leachman improvised a dialogue in which Frau Blucher offers Val milk and Ovaltine to Dr. Frankenstein. It's been rumored for many years that the scene where Frederick accidentally stabs himself with a scalpel wasn't in the script, and that Gene Wilder accidentally did it for real but continued the scene. This is false. In fact, a square patch can be seen under Wilder's pant leg where the scalpel is meant to stab. Mel Brooks cast Kenneth Mars after he signed off on wearing a monocle over an eye patch. According to Mel Brooks, the studio tried tricking him into shooting the film in color. They said, okay, we'll make it in black and white, but on color stock so we can show it in Peru, which has got color. And I said, no, because you'll screw me. You'll say this, and then in order to save the company, you risk a lawsuit and you'll print everything in color. It's got to be a black and white thick film. According to her autobiography, Surely I Jest, Cindy Williams was cast as Elizabeth for a while. Madeline Kahn was originally cast as Elizabeth, and then she started having a scheduling conflict with another movie she was filming and had to bow out. So Williams, who had also auditioned for Elizabeth, stepped in and took over the role for a while. Then Kahn's schedule cleared up. Mel Brooks fired Williams and replaced her with Kahn. Inspector Kemp was inspired by Lionel Atwill as Inspector Crow in The Son of Frankenstein. When Gene Wilder leans in to kiss Madeline Kahn goodnight in her bedroom, her last second quip, "No tongues," was ad-libbed. At one point when Frederick is about to kiss... Gene Wilder took that line so literally, he held his tongue and didn't move it at all, even after he stopped filming.
Mm-hmm.
While Elizabeth is brushing her hair, she sings the Battle Hymn of the Republic. According to Mel Brooks' DVD commentary, they picked that song for her to sing because it was in the public domain. Madeline Kahn was a gifted singer and studied opera. In this movie, she sings completely on key. However, in Blazing Saddles, she purposely sings off key, which is quite difficult for an experienced singer. Sweet Mystery of Life is from the Victor Herbert operetta Naughty Marietta, which was originally on Broadway in 1910. Mel Brooks considers this the best film he ever directed, but rates it number 3 among his funniest. After Blazing Saddles and The Producers, Brooks confirmed these views in interviews celebrating his 90th birthday in 2016. Elizabeth sings A Sweet Mystery of Life in the film. The song is also used in Kurt Vonnegut's 1968 one-act play Fortitude, which is also a Frankenstein spoof. The film was shot, at least in part, on the old MGM backlot 2. Most obviously, the sloped Quality Street Town Street was used during the coffin transportation scene. Presumably, other exteriors using the existing MGM standing sets were used to keep production costs down, such as the MGM train station set, also later used in Bee Gees' Stayin' Alive. Peter Boyle met his future wife, Lorraine Alterman, when she visited the set to write an article about the filming of Young Frankenstein for Rolling Stone magazine. Madeline Kahn and Mel Brooks asked Mel Brooks if she could sing A Sweet Mystery of Life instead of the opening lines of Cheek to Cheek, as was originally scripted. She felt it had to be a song that started with A or O. The candles the actors are holding while exploring the castle at night were made of aluminum pipe with 100-watt projection bulbs concealed inside. A wire ran up each actor's sleeve and down the pant leg, so in addition to remembering their lines, they had to remember to keep the wires and bulb out of view.
Wow.
Mel Brooks asked costume designer Dorothy Jenkins to have Madeline Kahn show as much cleavage as they could get away with in 1974. Ironically, Frankenstein got away with much more in 1931 than in 1974 because the motion picture production code wasn't being enforced yet. The diary reveals that one needs to, quote, change the poles from plus to minus, from minus to plus. In Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, the diary states that the monster cannot be killed unless, quote, its energies are drained off artificially by changing the poles from plus to minus. I'll read off a few more here. There's quite a few.
Okay.
With the recent passing of Terry Garr and Gene Hackman, all of the main cast have passed on. Gene Wilder, Marty Feldman, Cloris Leachman, Madeline Kahn, Peter Boyle, and Kenneth Mars. 40 years later, Mel Brooks recalled, I had 3 weeks of rehearsals before we began shooting. I like rehearsals because it gives the actors an opportunity to get comfortable with each other, with their costumes, their accents. I said to the actors, we're making a riotous comedy here, but it's got to be very sweet and sad and at times very scary. It's got to be no real height. It's got to be no heightened acting. When it's funny, your character doesn't know it's funny. You're just doing your job. We know when it's funny. The audience knows when it's funny, but you don't. So don't you ever play funny. Gene Hackman filmed his cameo in December 1973, just before Christmas, immediately after wrapping filming on Night Moves, which was released in 1975. Because she was one of the credited co-writers of this movie's screenplay, based on the characters in the novel Frankenstein by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, Mary Shelley was a co-winner alongside Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks of the 1975 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation, despite having been dead since 1851. Mel Brooks' wife, Anne Bancroft, can be briefly seen as an extra in the theater audience before Frederick and the Creatures performance. Young Frankenstein was also a novel by Gilbert Perlman, 1928-2011, who is also a playwright, film producer, and screenwriter. He also had an advertising agency bearing his name and was a top Hollywood publicity agent. Gene Wilder was originally considered for Lex Luthor in Superman the Movie, 1978, but it was given to co-star Gene Hackman. Peter Boyle later dressed up as Frankenstein's monster on a Halloween episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. The highest grossing Frankenstein film at the domestic box office. It was also the highest grossing worldwide until surpassed by, it says Frankenstein, but I don't know which one. Obviously one afterward, of which there have been several. Doesn't clarify which one. Elizabeth appears in a Bride of Frankenstein outfit on her wedding night and hisses at her husband. This is the original character did in Bride of Frankenstein. The only death in the movie occurs when the monster kills the cruel prison guard. Mel Brooks felt this was necessary to heighten the emotional impact and intensity of the final act. All right, I'm going to wrap it there. There's a lot more. Please head on over to IMDb Pro for the rest, and check out my page that I have there.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, you got anything coming up later?
I actually I do. Few things that weren't originally planned. I do have kind of a surprise unboxing coming up here. After I get some dinner and take a walk, then I'll come back and I'll do an unboxing. I might do another video I've been planning on, and of course, the two more important appearances. I'm going to be on Films with Friends tonight with Big Al Presents, Netters Network, and Troy Pacelli. Tonight's film is going to be Silver Bullet, and that's going to be starting at around 10 p.m. And of course, right after that's done, I'm going to be joining Bill for after hours karaoke.
Spooky karaoke part 2.
Yes. All right. So definitely going to bring out some spooky songs. I will pick a few out. So I'll be joining that show probably around sometime between the midnight and 1 a.m. hour on the East Coast. All right, tomorrow, of course, will be my program Unscripted. My at present my longest running show on my channel, episode 127, entitled "The Fault in Our Stars," and it's going to be kind of a part 2 from last week, just a little less vitriolic, because I'm going to be kind of critiquing myself a little bit too. So
cool.
That's going to be at 8 p.m. And then, of course, right after that, Geeky Geezers over on Age Boomer's channel. I won't be on the show, but I'll be in the chat. And right after Geeky Geezers is completed, head back on over to my channel for Reserved Seats, where I'm going to be joined by Wilkie's Movies and Music, who was with us in the chat earlier. And he's going to be my guest for this week's show. Monday is going to be Mystery Movie Night. So we have the Mystery Movie Night podcast. That'll be at 7 p.m. Tuesday, followed right after by Live from Sparkwood and 21 at 8:30. Then Thursday, we're going to be rounding out our month-long tribute, kind of Halloween horror movie tribute on Action Theater with The Lost Boys from 1987. So that'll be Thursday at 4:30. Later on that night, I have a lot of shows, folks. Later on that night will be. This is why I say I add a half hour to every show I'm on. Coming attractions at 11:30. Well, no, actually, that was the old time. 11:15-ish. Right after Thursday Things is over. Where my chance to let everybody know what I'm going to be doing the next week, up to and including my appearance on Friday on Films with Friends, Halloween night. And Al and I are going to watch the original. And as far as I'm concerned, best. And when I get in certain moods only, Halloween.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The Halloween films have become a bit of a choose your own adventure type situation. But honestly, you only really need to see the first one.
Yeah. All right. Well, as the scene said, I got spooky karaoke later. Will be about 8 p.m. Mountain / Pacific. I don't know if has everybody changed their clocks back? Because I don't know when. I don't do that here. I don't do that here in
Oh,
the
is that
state.
tonight?
No, I don't think that happens until like November 3rd or 4th, or I think.
Oh,
I'm not. Don't quote me on it.
okay.
Anyway, that's what I got coming up, and then as the lead scene also said, back here Thursday Action Theater for the Lost Boys. Always remember to be excellent to each other. Party on. We can't wait to see you on the next one. Thank you, everybody who's here in chat now or drop by to say hello.
Mm-hmm. All right. And as I always say, I'd like to once again thank everyone who joined us here for the show. We had we at one point had over 80 people watching, and there may have been more. So because there's usually times two on Bill's side. So thank you to everyone who stopped by to check us out, even if it was only for a few moments. And I would also like to thank, of course, everyone who is joining us on X from Bill's account.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank, of course, everybody who was here in the live chat with us. Everyone who was lurking. There's always some. Don't have to engage with the chat. Just as long as you enjoy the show, hit the like, share out the stream, and remember to join us at our regular day and time, Thursday at 4:30 for the Lost Boys. From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe and healthy. Keep putting on the Ritz, because this is how we win.